Hello fam! This is Rain from the YouTube channel This Big Life. Welcome to Mindful Mondays. Here we get to journey down the rabbit hole for the sole purpose of self-actualization. You can head over to the vlog series of This Big Life for the raw, real, quirky, and messy experiences that I'm having in real time. But here you get to see a whole different part of my personality. As always, topics in this series are not my original ideas or concepts, and I will always let you know where I'm pulling my information from so you can gain in resources too. Crystals in hand, let's go. Today we are going to dissect the ideas of manifesting. As someone who has spent a lot of time contemplating this very interesting topic, I started my studies a long time ago under the assumption that creating my own reality was based solely on mantras, vision boards, and positive thinking. But my characters never to leave things as they are. And what I learned was that there was a lot more texture to the idea of manifesting. I stumbled on this woman in TED Talks named Barbara Sher. She's a public speaker, author, coach. She opened up this idea of transparency and community when it came to achieving your dreams. This was certainly a very valid perspective, especially for those of us who are extroverted and who don't want to spend time moving fractal space in the privacy of their own home. Barbara started her career not as a new age guru, not as a self-help author, but as a recently divorced single mom who would pat herself on the back just for getting the dishes done that day. She agreed to an entry-level, albeit interesting position as a group leader for something called encounter groups. Encounter groups are where you get together and you get to scream and yell at each other with all the foul things that you have stirred up in your head because of what's going on in your personal life. You scream at people one-on-one in the group until you reach an emotional catharsis and ultimately transparency with what you're feeling. Those would be very interesting sessions. At some point in her career, Barbara took to helping people manifest their dreams. And it was in response to them coming into class after expressing their very real life issues. The magic juice was that the issues were always posed as this: I really want this thing, but I have this problem that's getting in the way. But Barbara noticed a shift where, because they were working on that emotional plane, all other group members would come forward and they would start to make the seemingly impossible dream come true. People got life partners, dream jobs, and even way more profound things when these sessions moved from group settings into seminars. Though she wasn't some big new age spiritual type, she was certainly good at helping people express all the messed up things in their head, and thus help them forward their authentic hopes and dreams to a room of strangers who then provided themselves as what we intrinsically are. We are creative problem solvers. Think about it. If someone provides you with a problem, you're more than likely going to try to help them solve it, right? This was a major perspective enhancement for me. And it boiled down to talk about your dreams and your desires, talk about your obstacles, branch out to your community. I mean, even create like dream circles, for crying out loud. And you'll find that your solutions could very easily be in your very next conversation. Because someone always knows someone who knows someone. And I mean, let's get real. How much can we truly manifest without the people around us? And if you're creating in your mind that someone who presented a solution for you was just manifested in your mind, maybe you're kind of, or maybe not. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Or in this case, my conscious, enlightened mind, or the people around me who are willing to help me out? The more traditional aspect of manifesting that we hear about is usually a very solo act. These are how some of the experts say it's done. Sadhguru speaks about the individual manifestor needing to organize themselves internally first and foremost. Then everything, thoughts, emotion, energy, will all fall into some sort of internal alignment and lead you to where you want to go. And that inner alignment must be unwavering for a period of time. So it's about moving away from a compulsive state of thinking into a conscious state of thinking. Because the question is, okay, what would happen if I got everything that I wanted right now? My life would probably be pretty flooded and chaotic, and I probably wouldn't be able to handle most of what I got. But what's the one thing presently, right now, that is wanted? With that one thing, what do I want? And then focus on that. Sadhguru says that our thoughts, and only our thoughts, are what we are responsible for. What is possible and what is not possible is none of our business. It's nature's business, and we leave it up to nature to decide. But as cognitive human beings, our business is of our inner world and focusing on what we want in its steadfast and purest nature, unharmed by negative or negating thoughts. That is our business. Rick Paris is a friend of mine out of the San Francisco Bay Area, and we refer to him and his company as the conscious reality creator. Rick has gone to the extremes of outlining the mechanics of manifesting. He had an incredible experience in 2006 where he was in a fatal car accident and he went to the other side for 18 minutes. And he says, out of conscious free will, he chose to come back. We talk about him in one of the upcoming episodes on This Big Life. Rick came back to share his deep insights with all those who wish to venture down this really extreme, yet satisfyingly congruent viewpoint of all other sages and enlightened teachers I've ever studied before him. Rick talks about manifesting as 3 steps: imagination, desire, and expectation. Rick starts by pointing out that we must always base our reality creating on our imagination. And our imagination can have nothing to do with what's come before in the past. If we continue to pull from past experiences and then we throw it out in front of us, it creates an expectation that the past is going to repeat itself. Well, I know this will happen again. It always happens like this. As opposed to imagining in the now and seeing something that happens in the future and having that expectation instead.
And imagination can't really be nothing. We call it nothing because it isn't tangible. It isn't that real. But it is almost real. Ideas that become so powerful in your mind and your consciousness, they seem real to you even before they become tangible.
We have to make time for our imagination. Imagination is where we get the opportunity to see a new world that is going really, really well and is based solely on our personal preferences, not on our conditioning or our fear. Then the positive emotion that comes from that creates the desire, which is like the octane that pushes your manifestation through. Then when we move into expectation, we ask ourselves, can I expect this to happen? And then if the answer is no, then it means you have a negative belief in there somewhere. So then you ask yourself, okay, why no? Do I think I'm not worthy? Incapable? Will it be difficult? Am I not the right person for it? Or do I fear the failure and the loneliness of it not coming true? All those things can be painful enough ideas sometimes internally that we stop the process right in its tracks. So it's our job to find that stuff and to remove the beliefs. Because if we have been gifted with the imagination of this idea, it means that we've been gifted with the possibility that it can come true for us. When we keep ourselves in the proverbial safe house, we also keep ourselves away from being able to create our own reality. The best thing I heard from Rick was when he spoke about manifesting articulated through nature and how we have to stay open to all possibilities.
The control wants to know how to get there so I can duplicate the experience again, which is not going for enlightenment, which is not what an awakened person does. You're not really there's nothing in nature trying to duplicate the same thing. I want the same 3,647 leaves I had last fall before they fell out. Nature's not doing stuff like that. It's just opening to more, opening to more. But you have to get out of that old paradigm of control.
So here you have it, guys. A full dose of the manifesting goodness. That's it for Mindful Mondays. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button and subscribe. And join us next week on the channel for more deep dives into topics about self-discovery and self-actualization. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on the path. See you next Mindful Monday.